Bitcoin has been tracking the equity markets very, very closely. Today, we are seeing a little weakness, but a bigger sell-off in Bitcoin. This concerns me because
Bitcoin Zella stands out with its simplicity and clarity. We've crafted an experience that anyone can dive into, whether you're a crypto expert or just a new to the crypto world. Now, guess who keeps his eye on us? The author of best-selling book Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki. And we want to take this opportunity and thank all the people who trusted us, and we read every comment. And the best part, it's free. Subscribing now means you will get all new information for free. Don't just follow the trends, stay ahead of them. Subscribe to Bitcoin Zella today and enjoy the new edge. In this video, let's talk about Bitcoin and more.
this should be the market where Bitcoin's making new all-time highs, with the stock market making new all-time highs. So while this bigger channel is a bullish channel, the key again is, if the market's dumped, does it come back in here? I would say that as long as you hold 50 to 49,000, this support number 1 and 2 here, you buy these levels. If this breaks, stop out right away, because I honestly think if this stock market collapses, you're going to go a lot lower. We could be talking even into the low 30,000 range. I will be a heavy buyer in the 30,000 range, though, if we get there. Again, I love Bitcoin long-term, mid-term. It's just the stock market dependency is very concerning to me because people are fickle, right? You have these new ETFs, spot ETFs, lots of retail investors that really weren't in Bitcoin prior are in. If they get scared, they dump and Bitcoin goes down.
Wait, sorry, why would it go to 30,000 from this point? That's a 50% decline.
Yep. So number one, the 50% corrections in Bitcoin are standard. That's standard for bear markets. If it goes into a bear market flush, 50% is pretty much your run of the mill. But the key is I'm a technical trader. So if we look at this level right here, the 52 to 49,000 level, if those break, there's not a lot of major support until the low 30s. So this level must hold if you're bull case. If you're a bull right now and you see Bitcoin dumping out to the low 50s, it's got to hold that. If it breaks, watch out below.
What about to the upside? Is there a ceiling where if it breaks above that, we're in a bull market?
Yes. So see this upper resistance line right here, this parallel line. So if price can get above there and confirm, you're probably headed to 100,000.
Sorry, where is that again? 70,000?
Right. So basically 69, 68,000. If you get above there, I think money just flocks in and it rips higher. And I think within three to 4 months, you could be at 100K.
Okay. I'm curious as to why Bitcoin, just based on the charts, did not sustain its pre-all-time high, which is early in the year. It reached 70,000, which beat the last all-time high a couple of years ago, and it just stalled there.
Yeah, it's a great question. And I think this is where people are. So one of the things to keep in mind is that we've seen utilities, you were mentioning it earlier, we've seen defensive names start to take off and run. Well, Bitcoin is probably the least defensive name out there of an asset class, crypto, right? And so I think that's why Bitcoin has struggled, is because even though tech stocks and the markets are making new all-time highs, the markets are not being led by, Microsoft or NVIDIA anymore, right? They're being led by the Walmarts, like you said, Walmart, Costco, Eli Lilly. Like, these are much more defensive names, and that doesn't jive with investing in Bitcoin. And so I think Bitcoin has seen some money move away from it for defensive names, and that's kept it from making new all-time highs here in the short term.
Bitcoin has bounced back to $64,000 following a 7.3% gain in September, marking the best ever performance for the month. Traders are confident that dips in BTC price offer strong buying opportunities, signaling more upside potential in the near term. Bitcoin retested the $64,000 level on October 1, following a strong September that ended with 7.3% gains, the best performance for the month ever recorded. While Bitcoin failed to flip $65,000 into support, the bullish trend remains intact. Bitcoin's price held above the 21-week in May, which is seen as a critical level to avoid further downside. Traders are closely watching for support at $62,700 and resistance at $67,000. Losing these key moving averages could signal weakness, but holding them offers bullish momentum. Analysts, including Scott Melker, believe Bitcoin's recent dip presents a strong buying opportunity. As Bitcoin closes above $65,000, Melker suggests buying on pullbacks to capture further upside as the market trends higher. With bullish divergence forming on shorter timeframes, Traders like Roman expect upward consolidation and stronger price action in the coming days. Michael Van de Poppe is also optimistic, targeting a retest of $60.05, $61.3 thousand, before Bitcoin tests its all-time high ATH. Despite resistance at $65,000, Bitcoin's technical indicators and trader sentiment suggest more upside. With dip buying in full swing, the next push could see Bitcoin retesting its all-time high in the near future.
So there's two things that when I see this trend that it makes me very aware of. Number one is companies are having to spend more money to keep that revenue flow coming in, right? When everyone had a ton of money during COVID, they almost had to spend no money to generate revenue from sales of products, goods, and services, right? But now they're seeing that they're having to push that money and spend that money on advertising or whatever else it may be to bring that money in. The other thing I think that's going on is you're seeing a lot of spend to keep themselves on the cutting edge via the AI, right? So you have AI becoming very, very big, and therefore these companies are needing to buy these chips. They're very expensive, and that's running down their balance sheets in terms of cash as well. So again, two-pronged, but overall it's an economic worry when these companies have to spend a lot more money to generate the same amount of revenue that expectations were at. So I would say this is that overall, you're looking at corporate earnings in decline. I think that, again, you're still going to probably get a beat in this quarter, but my guess is we're going to see that corporate earnings are starting to slow. We've seen warnings from the likes of McDonald's, from Disney, from a lot of these companies. And really, we've seen the AI companies that have been helping keep the market up. But even those are starting to stall. In fact, today, looking at the AI stocks, the chip stocks are under a little bit of pressure. So you have price to perfection stocks, valuations that honestly are stretched in any market condition, even in a bull market. And I think that's going to be a hindrance for valuation. So I would look for slowing to flat growth in earnings and eventually a decline in the coming quarters. The markets cue off of what the Fed says, and then they obviously extrapolate out. But to me, you're looking at an economy that is going to slowly weaken, right? If we look at the various metrics here, we have the yield curve has now uninverted. If you look at the yield curve, what happens? It uninverts 3 to 6 months later, we have a recession. And that's been historically the norm. Pretty much even going into COVID, it was briefly inverted just before COVID hit. And so we have to say that, okay, by the end of this year to the first quarter of 2025, that's when your recession hits if you go by the data. And it's very important to go by the data. In addition, if we take a look here, and if I could show my chart, I want to show you the 10-year yield. Look at what we have on this. It's fantastic. So we have gone to a point where we are now coming down on the 10-year, and I have major technical support. Look at this high here, right through these lows, this upsloping trend line. These are merging around 3 to 3.25%. So for me, I'm looking at this is where the Fed funds levels are going to be, where we're going to come down to on interest rates. Now, that kind of puts it in the range, but still, the key to understand here is that we're likely going to see a recession. The Fed is going to want to cut more, but I'm fearful that if they cut too much, it's going to kickstart the inflation gauge again. And I am worried about stagflation. I do think stagflation is a very possible outcome here, not in the near term. No one's going to talk about it for a little while here because we've seen the numbers come down on inflation. PCE came down, CPIs come down. But I do worry that the Fed being so aggressive on these cuts, you're going to see inflation start to move up, but you're not going to see the economic growth that you're hoping to get.
Michael Dell sold 10 million shares of Dell Technologies, worth $1.22 billion, marking his second large stock sale in September. The sale comes amid Dell Technologies' strong year, fueled by demand for AI hardware. Dell has also sparked speculation about a potential interest in Bitcoin through recent cryptic social media posts. Michael Dell disclosed the sale of 10 million shares worth $1.22 billion on September 30, his second sale this month, following a $1.17 billion transaction just days earlier. Despite the sales, Dell's stock price has remained stable, with no major negative market reaction. Dell Technologies has benefited from the surge in AI hardware demand, leading to a 58.5% increase in stock price this year. The company rejoined the S&P 500 on September 24, highlighting its strong performance. Dell sparked curiosity among crypto enthusiasts with recent posts referencing scarcity, a concept often linked to Bitcoin's limited supply. His interactions with Bitcoin advocate Michael Saylor added fuel to the speculation, though Dell Technologies has not added Bitcoin to its balance sheet. Even after selling 20 million shares in September, Michael Dell retains over $2 billion in Dell Technologies stock, maintaining a significant position in the company. Michael Dell's recent sales of Dell Technologies stock come amid speculation about his interest in Bitcoin. However, the company's focus remains on hardware, with no signs of cryptocurrency involvement on its balance sheet for now. If you've been with us so far, a big thank you. Don't forget to subscribe for free to Bitcoin Zella for your daily news. The link is waiting below. That's all for today's crypto news. Stick around for more updates, insights, and analysis on cryptocurrencies. Share your thoughts in the comments, like this video, and subscribe for more exciting content.